Sup guys, Nardy here. If you can't tell, I am very tired, but I'm doing this anyway. If you guys also could not tell, we made playoffs for UBL, which is quite great, and I wish my DS would continue charging because it's a pain in the butt. But anywho, we faced Kurt, aka Pointblank, which I played once before, and I believe it was the APA last season. That's at least where I think I played Kurt last. I'm not 100% certain. So the winner of this match goes versus Hera, which I believe was first in our division, and then on the other side we have Root and Wex playing to go to semis, then play, I believe it's Uzi. So both really good matches. Okay, let's get right into this actually. Kurt brought Mega Banette, which I actually did not expect him to bring, Primate, Jirachi, Sneasel, Slowbro, and the Zapdos. I expected 4 out of the 6 of these. The only things I got wrong were the Banette and the Primate, because, well, I didn't really see what the Primate did versus my team, other than, well, try to get a Defiant boost, which I don't remember if it happened or not, but either way. Let's get right into this. I'm gonna just play the game. I'm gonna put the audio back on. I don't remember what audio I even picked, because gosh dang. He led off with the Mega Banana. I was like, well, this is scary. And also, quick note, I may have misgened my Tangrowth, which may have judged my plays a little bit differently. You'll see later what I mean. He either just goes straight for the Gunk Shot. I was like, maybe he's going for the Willow, which I wouldn't have mind. He goes straight for the Gunk Shot. I just go straight for Giga Drinks. I'm like, I need to see what this thing does. And he reveals he has Gunk Shot. I'm like, okay, Tangrowth cannot stay in, so Rotom would probably be smartest, considering Rotom only hurts this thing, really, and nothing else. So he goes for Gunk Shot again, took decent hit. I believe that was physically bulky Rotom. I don't remember what it was, but like, it's Mega Banette, it's not gonna do crap. So I'm like, no Shadow Snake, so I don't know what he's gonna do. I just click Shadow Ball because I'm like, I need chip on something. And I got chip from the Sneasel, so I'm like, well, this is good to note. Now I believe he was, I don't remember what his Sneasel was. I believe it was Choice Band. He knocks off my lefties. The crit did not matter. Knockoff killed me regardless if it was banded. I just go into Dharma. I'm like, yeah, something needs to die. He's probably just gonna go straight into Slowbro, so I'm like, I'm gonna click U-turn. Goes into Larry, which is the Slowbro indeed, which was goddamn annoying. I do U-turn, it does 23-ish. Find out he's Rocky Helmet, I'm like, well, that's good to know. And this is what I meant when there was an issue with my Tangrowth. It did not have Regenerator, it was Leaf Guard. So I pretty much just had to, I believe, what did I click that turn? Did I click Giga Drain or I clicked something else? No, I clicked Knockoff to get rid of the item. And here I found out this was lefties. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be annoying. He literally just clicks Heat Wave. I'm like, well, Tangrowth, you're probably gonna die. I just click in power, see how much I can do, because it's HP Ice, because he also had Garchomp, so I'm like, that did not do very much. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna withdraw Tangrowth, see if I can save it later for death. I just switch into Azu. He goes for Discharge, I'm Assault Vest, so I'm like, I can take 2 to 3 of these. And from the rollout I could definitely take another 2. Well, I'll take another one for sure. Clicks Discharge, I live on 1. He gets the paralysis off. However, I click Ice Punch. Doesn't kill. However, I get the freeze. what happened? Here I just click Aqua Jet because I'm like, I can't risk him de-thawing with Heat Wave or something, so I'm like, I'm just gonna kill it. If I get Parrot, I get Parrot. There's nothing else I can do. He just goes into Irachi, which I'm like, I don't know what this thing is. Don't know if it's Scarfed, I don't know if it's Spexed, I don't know what on earth it is, so I'm like, I'm just gonna Aqua Jet it, see what it is. He just clicks Psychic, I'm like, okay, this is my best bet to see what this thing is to switch into Azelf. Because Azelf is sashed and can take any hit. So I stay in, and he reveals he's Scarfed, so I'm like, well, this is interesting. I click Flamethrower, I'm like, I want to see how much this does. There's enough. I was also expecting a lot less. I was expecting a bulky Drush, but he's Scarfed, I'm like, well, he's not going to need that Scarf anymore, and I can't use my Sash, so I'm like, I'm just going to click Trick. I'm going to steal his Scarf, so that way he just gets screwed. And now here I was like debating what move that I want to go for. I'm like, I know Psychic would kill, but I'm like, I didn't want to risk the Sneasel coming in. So I just clicked Flamethrower, I'm like, yeah, this is my safest bet. Because it hits everything, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go with that. And now he goes back into the banana. I'm like, reveal the Shadow Sneak? Question mark. So I switch out. I switch to Tangrowth. Then I'm like, let's see what this thing actually is. And it did have Shadow Sneak. So I'm like, that's all I needed to know. So I'm like, okay, I could switch in my Darm here. I already know he's gonna switch out because it's just suicide to leave that thing in. So he switches that out, switches a Slowbro back in. I'm going to take more Rocky Helmet damage, which I really kind of don't want. Because I just went for Flare Blitz. I'm like, I should probably U-turn, but I'm like, in case he makes a dumb play, I'm like, I have to go for Flare Blitz. I'm like, yeah, I have to physically switch out because I'm Scarfed. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Azelf. He's probably going to click Scald. I'm probably going to die. I'm like, I had no choice. It was like, my safest bet to get into Beedrill was to sadly sack this thing off. So I'm like, I'm down to my last 2 Mons, even though it's like not my bad Mons. It's just like, don't want to die. Also, I would like to note something. My Beedrill set was pretty heat, except I didn't really get to use it to its full potential. So I pretty much just went to click X's, or I'm like, I had no choice. I'm like, it's a roll if this thing, if X's are killed if it was max defense, max HP. Got the roll if it was that. If it was not max invested in both, I'm like, he just dies. And here I'm like, here I was expecting Scarf Primate, probably. And it was not, so I just kill it with Poison Jab. I'm like, oh, thank God. That it was expecting me to set up. I don't know what it was. And here he goes into the net. I'm like, what do you do? And he reveals he has Willow, so I'm like, oh, this is a problem. I go for Poison Jab because it's literally the best move I have, and the chance to poison is just much better. And I get the 30%. Even if I didn't get off the first time, I'm like, good chance I would get off the next hit. So I'm like, we're gonna be trading damage now, so I'm like, there's not much you can do. And at this point, it's like, this match is pretty much over. He goes for Shadow Sneak, it doesn't kill. I go for Poison Jab again. There's not much you can do. Pretty much now he has nothing to do with his Banette. He can't do crap. But the weird thing is, I actually went for X-Scissor on this turn. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? He actually switched in the scene, so I'm like, oh, this thing's dead. This thing's 100% dead, even if I'm burned. So now it's GG, because that Banette cannot do anything. Even if it takes me with it, it can't do anything. This was such a good game. Honestly, this was such a good game. I lose Mega Beedrill, but Darm in the back would have clutched, except for the sole reason that, thing is, if Kurt actually didn't get poisoned by Poison Jab, he actually would have won, because turns out his Mega Banette had Destiny Bond as its last move. So even if we killed it, he would have won. Unless we got like a very weird roll in which he wouldn't have died, then we would have won. But other than that, it was a really good game. Other than that weird one turn where he got a para on me and I froze him, which is just super weird considering one's a 30% chance and one's a 10. Other than that, I believe Hex was pretty fair on both times, even though I burned him with a flamethrower, which really did not matter, because literally flamethrower killed him again anyway, so it literally did nothing. So now I believe I go versus Hera, which honestly, he has a very scary team. I believe he is either tied with Uzi for first place, or he's second place, because the Duck's not 100% up to date with the amount of wins they had. So I'm like, we advance. Now I gotta play one of the more scarier teams, which kind of sucks. But hey, we advanced. So I am Neither of your Death Valley Houndooms, and I will see you next week versus Hera. Bye bye.